What is up, you guys, and welcome to the Chosen League podcast where fire sports content is the name of the game. I'm your host, Devin, and in today's episode, I'm going to be talking to you guys about today's game, LSU versus Wisconsin. But before we get into all that, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time I upload an episode. Let's get into it. LSU came out on top, they came out victorious, winning this Capital One Bowl game 35-31. Yes, there were a lot of lead changes going on in this game between Wisconsin and LSU. But first off, I'm going to start off with LSU and their offense. LSU offensively, poor pass protection for Garett Nussmeier in the first quarter. The first quarter, Garett Nussmeier was not able to plant his feet on the ground and really get the ball rolling. He wasn't able to move the ball down the field as much as he liked in the first quarter due to the poor pass protection by his offensive line. Wisconsin set the tone on both ends of the field, offensively and defensively, and I will get more into that. Defensively, they applied pressure on Garett Nussmeier, which resulted in him throwing the ball away, having to kick a field goal. And a lot of times they tried to run the ball on. There were certain plays like second in the first quarter, like second or third down, mainly third down, they'll try to run the ball up the middle instead of cutting to the outside, which gave a big advantage because Wisconsin's defensive line was crushing the middle, just jamming up the middle. There's no way you're gonna get that. Plus, they were reading the LSU's run game most of the time. So with LSU in mind, poor pass protection, but got Garett Nussmeier started to bring back. He started to elevate his game. He started to make a comeback in the second quarter. LSU scored their first touchdown in the second quarter with 6 minutes remaining. Nussmeier became more patient in the pocket. He started making better decisions in the pocket and making better reads to his receivers. And then running back Caleb Jackson with the score as a touchdown. Now, they're making their way back. They're bouncing back. They score 2 touchdowns. Then just before the second quarter is about to end, before they go into halftime, Garett Nussmeier makes a bad read. He makes a bad decision on the pass, which results in an interception. He threw his first interception of the game, which gives Wisconsin back the ball. They go and try to score, and it doesn't. It just ends up not working out for Wisconsin. They don't score. But sadly, with LSU, their wide receiver Kyron Lacey ended up limping off the field because he got hurt. He limped off the field for a bit and probably didn't see him for the rest of the game, or he just sat out a couple of times. But then LSU has it going. They take a lead. They take the lead in the fourth quarter with the touchdown pass to Thomas Jr. So LSU really elevated their game. They really did what they were supposed to do, and that's why they got this win. So as a whole, offensively for LSU, receiving 31 receptions, 395 yards, 3 touchdowns. Rushing for LSU, 24 carries, 98 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And really, they really came up big in their run game in the fourth quarter. Moving on to Wisconsin. Wisconsin offensively for Wisconsin, they really, we already know about what they did defensively, but offensively for Wisconsin, and then I'm gonna wrap it up with LSU's defense at the end. Wisconsin offensively, rushing wise for Wisconsin, 34 carries, 128 yards, 1 touchdown. Receiving yards for Wisconsin, 27 receptions, 378 yards, 3 touchdowns. Now, Wisconsin, on the other hand, their mindset in this game, because they were playing a team like LSU who's a team that makes a comeback when they're trailing. When they're trailing when LSU is trailing and they're losing in the game, they know what they have to do to bounce back, and that's why they overcame adversity today. But with Wisconsin in mind, they set the tone early, scored 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. Wisconsin's passing game was a problem for LSU, and I will get into that at the last part, which will be about LSU's defense. Um, Wisconsin had the lead 9 times out of 10 throughout the game. They held on to the lead as much as they can. They took the lead in the second quarter with 47 seconds remaining. Um, they played good in the red zone until the fourth quarter came around. A rushing touchdown by Jackson Aker, and he really came up big as well. He was a X factor in their on their team running wise, and he made a lot of great plays. They end up making a field goal on fourth and goal, which gave them 3 points, which in the fourth quarter it was 28-31. Then in the fourth quarter, as they're trying to wiggle their way back in and try to score to win the game, because LSU took the lead with a touchdown. Poor ball security by Tanner Mordecai. Tanner Mordecai did not do a good job in the fourth quarter. And these are crunch time. These are clutch moments. When you're in the fourth quarter and you're in it's like it was desperation for Wisconsin. They were desperate to get a touchdown because they're like, we are down by 3 points. Now we have to look. Now we're in the same situation as LSU, so we got to put ourselves in their shoes and figure out what we got to do. We got to score a touchdown. It's a no-brainer. But the thing about Wisconsin and Tanner Mordecai, I one thing he should have done better was time management. You have to I understand your objective, your mission is to as many touchdowns as you can and try to stay ahead of LSU. But at the same time, you have to use the clock to your advantage. Play a quarterback like Garett Nussmeier, who even though he threw one interception, he made each drive count. He made each drive count by playing his game. He didn't play out of his game. He didn't play out of his element. LSU did what they were supposed to do. With Tanner Mordecai was trying to play hero ball and trying to make a miracle. Stop trying to force it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Because when you've been playing when you've been playing your style and you have your objective of what you're supposed to do and what you're trying to do, you know, do have that mindset as to where I know what I'm trying to do. This is what we're doing. Why am I trying to rush the process? Stick to your game plan. Do what you've been doing. And if all else fails, hey, it is what it is. You have to live with it. But there were a lot of holding calls. There were a lot of holding from the offensive line. They should have got called. Wisconsin's offensive line should have got called plenty of times for holding. They were holding most of the game, and when the fourth quarter came down to it, LSU was able to get past that line and get to Tanner Mordecai. But before I end the show, I'm gonna end it off with LSU's defense. LSU's defense, they struggled badly. They struggled badly honestly, they struggled badly in the first half. First half and then halfway through the third quarter. Because of this, poor tackling. That's why Wisconsin was able to get more yards and they were getting those touchdowns. When you were for people who ever played football before, including myself, I played in high school, but like, come on now. When they teach you how to tackle, you gotta wrap up. You cannot just focus on, oh, I'm trying to knock this guy's head off. You may be trying to force a fumble or trying to make a big play, but the small key plays is wrapping up and making sure that he does not go anywhere. Making sure that he doesn't get those 2 extra yards. That's what LSU did. That's what LSU did, and that's why they were hurting themselves. Poor tackling. And what another thing that hurt them is they played zone coverage. You're giving Wisconsin's receivers too much cushion. You're giving Wisconsin's offense as a whole too much cushion. Why are you playing zone coverage when you know on those run plays and pass plays that Wisconsin ran, the middle of the field was wide open. Tanner Mordecai took advantage of that. He threw plenty of deep balls down the field, which gave them big yards, gave them first and goal, gave them a touchdown. It was too much of an opportunity for Wisconsin's offense to really get down the field. Too much. You're giving them too much space. And then, like I said, leaving the middle of the field wide open, and then okay, you sack. They started to get better in the fourth quarter. They start putting more pressure on Tanner Mordecai, sacked him at least 3 times, 2 or 3 times in the fourth quarter. And then, you did your thing. But moving forward, honestly, the defensive coordinator, I don't know, the defensive coordinator for LSU, he has to do a better job at calling those plays because you gotta play man coverage because once they left zone coverage and played man coverage, they started to put more pressure on Tanner Mordecai. He couldn't really time his passes anymore. He really didn't have much time in the pocket. It's just the thing of the fact of the matter is you're playing you have a game plan. Okay, y'all, LSU started playing good with man coverage, and then they're switching back to, oh, we're gonna play zone. Why? Why? Makes no sense. But honestly, I'm glad LSU got the win. It was a it was one of the best bowl games of today. Once again, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time I upload an episode. I'm Devin, and I'm signing off.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show.